Snow White bombs, breaks records for the lowest live-action remake opening ever. Let me say that again. Ever. Okay, this is Snow White.
Rachel Zegler has experienced a sense of humility. After making some extremely tone-deaf remarks that didn't translate well during the film's terrifying opening weekend, the lead actress in Disney's Snow White remake has been brought back to reality. After Snow White becomes the biggest failure in Disney history, Rachel Zegler's career is ended. Disney now merely wants to get rid of her, and now nobody wants to collaborate with her. Her career seemed to have ended before it really got started. Come along with me today as we explore how one of Hollywood's most conceited actresses destroyed her career in one of the most cherished films ever made, all because she was unable to remain silent.
I'm a narcissist.
As everyone is aware, the latest Snow White remake was released lately and it was not well received. Despite having a staggering budget of $270 million, the film was a dismal failure, earning only $43 million during its first weekend in the United States. In contrast, Beauty and the Beast, 2017, grossed $174 million in its debut weekend, and other recent live-action Disney adaptations, such as The Lion King, 2019, made $191 million in their first weekend domestically. However, there was nothing but catastrophe after catastrophe from the start of its manufacturing. We are discussing a walkout by actors, a COVID outbreak, and a set fire that halted production. And that was all before the whole thing was ruined by the Rachel Zegler scandal. It's said that poor PR doesn't exist, yet Rachel Zegler made sure this film would fail on her own. Additionally, you should look up reviews rather than relying solely on my perspective. Prior to the film's release, Rachel was vilified, and after people saw it, their hatred only grew. One of the worst reviewed Disney films in a long time is this Snow White remake. The Rotten Tomatoes rating was merely 43%. Additionally, the film earned a startling B+ cinema score, a very low rating for this kind of Disney subgenre. In contrast, other film received an A, while Mufasa received a minus. Now, Rachel was perhaps the main reason this film did so poorly. You guys have been embroiled in back-to-back scandals ever since she was revealed as the film's star. These days, divas are common in Hollywood.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them.
However, Rachel pretended to be more powerful than Disney. Many people thought she was too wonderful for the role, and that she believed she was the Snow White Messiah during the press tour. She literally seized every opportunity to disparage the original film, labeling it outdated. Furthermore, we all know that she was reserving the right words to express her true feelings. You see, for more than 8 decades, Snow White has been a key figure in Disney's repertoire. The original film genuinely altered Disney's corporate trajectory. The original film continues to be the highest-grossing animated film ever made. Additionally, it wasn't going to sit well with folks for Rachel to disrespect them. Although I can see Rachel's desire to update such a classic, many thought that rather than taking back her remarks, she made them worse after calling the original film creepy in an interview with Variety. Furthermore, it appeared that Rachel was determined to completely alter Snow White's identity. The more Rachel talked, the more it appeared that her intention was to make a completely different film rather than to offer a contemporary interpretation of the 1937 original. To make matters worse, Rachel now refers to Snow White's potential lover as a weird stalker. In an extra TV interview, she stated, "A guy that literally stalks her. Weird. We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap. Great dude. But it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful." Many individuals were offended by this particular remark, including David Hand, the son of the original supervisor of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. According to David, Rachel's remarks showed little regard for the work that Walt Disney and his father accomplished so many years ago.
So no Prince or a different kind of Prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yep. It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Because of the intense criticism, Rachel was forced to retract her remarks and appear in an interview with Variety, saying, "I would never want to box someone in and say, if you want love, then you can't work, or if you want to work, then you can't have a family. It's not true. It's never been true. It can be very upsetting when things get taken out of context or jokes don't land. The love story is very integral. A lot of people wrote that we weren't doing that storyline anymore. We were always doing that. It just wasn't what we were talking about on that day." Now, it makes sense that anyone who has faced as much criticism as Rachel would stand back and examine the matter differently. Rachel Zegler, however, is not. After the re-election, she actually took the other tack and started disparaging Donald Trump. I'm not sure about you, but if you're a well-reviewed star, the MAGA mob is the last group you want to argue with. Therefore, regardless of political views, influential people and celebrities shouldn't use their positions to propagate hate. However, it appears that Rachel missed the memo because she posted a number of startling things on Instagram, including the statement, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." She then went on to share another tale, stating, "There is also a deep, deep sickness in this country that is shown in the sheer amount of people who showed up for this man who threatens our democracy. It is terrifying. The number of people who stand behind what this man preaches. It is a foolish subscription to a false sense of security, of masculinity, of intelligence, of patriotism, and of humanity. There is no help, no counsel in any of them. I could go on. I won't. I feel sad. You probably do too. This." When her tirade was finally over, she said, "Donald Trump." Now that the mega camp was on her as soon as she shared those articles, no sane person could have predicted that this would end well for her. There were individuals threatening to boycott the film if Disney didn't terminate Rachel Zegler. Rachel was compelled to apologize for her remarks once more because of the overwhelming pressure on Disney to terminate her. Hi everyone, I would like to sincerely apologize for the election post I shared on my Instagram last week. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further and further away from peace and understanding, and I am sorry I contributed to the negative discourse. She went on, "This week has been emotional for so many of us, but I firmly believe that everyone has the right to their opinion, even when it differs from my own. I am committed to contributing positively toward a better tomorrow."
The reason we had Rachel Zegler on the docket is she's an asshole. So she came out and took a large dump on half of the country, everyone who voted for Trump. So I attacked her, and then she came out and she said, "I apologize. Like I went too far," but it wasn't sincere.
Since Rachel was becoming completely out of control, Disney made the decision to conduct some major damage control at this time. It was too late to fire Rachel because they had already faced a lot of criticism for the film. The only thing left to do was to attempt to change her perception. Despite its best efforts, Disney was unable to alter the public's opinion of Rachel. Given how much the child has spoken in her brief career, it seemed that Rachel herself made the rebranding process more challenging. Do you recall when she stated that she must be paid on an hourly basis?
Say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
People would constantly fill the comment section of any news piece or interview that attempted to portray Rachel as this endearing person, pointing out the innumerable instances in which Rachel had said or done something incredibly nasty, haughty, or completely out of touch. And there were plenty of instances. In the weeks preceding the film's release, it became abundantly clear to Disney that Rachel's reputation was beyond repair at that point. As a result, they chose to control the narrative and abandon the entire PR rebranding initiative. Therefore, they chose a more understated premiere rather than the customary red carpet event with reporters and the media. As it happens, Rachel created so much controversy that Disney was terrified to place her near a reporter. Martin Kleba, who plays Grumpy in the film, claims that Rachel Zegler essentially destroyed the entire experience for all of the people who put a lot of effort into making the film. Martin provided insight into the consequences of Rachel Zegler's portrayal of Snow White in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, stating, "It's going to be at the El Capitan Theater, which is cool, but it's basically going to be a pre-party, watch the movie, and that's it. There's not going to be this whole hoopla of Disney's first effing movie they ever made. Because of all this controversy, they're afraid of the blowback from different people in society. When the picture finally came out, it was a complete failure, earning just over $87 million worldwide, which is not good for a high-budget production that required so many reshoots. There are currently rumors that Disney is unsure on what to do with Rachel Zegler. The belief in Hollywood is that Rachel is too risky to collaborate with again, which only makes things worse for her. It appears that Rachel Zegler went from being one of Hollywood's most promising actors to becoming the most despised in a single film. It's startling. However, what are your thoughts? Is Rachel simply misinterpreted, or can she change her ways? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Goodbye until the next time.